Welcome to the Maverik Mindset Podcast. My name is Epic Life Kid Ray, and this is
Sebastian.
And today we're going to talk about being Mavericks. So, how's your life been, bro? I haven't seen you in a minute.
First of all, good to see you, bro.
Yeah.
Good to see you. I know you've done a lot of things.
Fuck yeah.
It's been a while since the last episode that we recorded. I want to apologize, but not really for that. We've been busy doing a lot of stuff, so
He's been in these streets.
you can't blame me.
Sebastian's been out here, bro.
But no, it's been good. I mean, we touched on a few subjects last time. We talked about a lot of different things, and I think it's funny because every time we do the podcast, we don't do it really often. So every time there's a big gap in between. So the conversations that you get to witness, it's kind of like me and Ray catching up.
Literally.
Right?
Yeah, man.
You know, he's been like, I don't know how many countries since I last saw him. And I've been doing a bunch of stuff. So, and a lot of things I've done. I just made a big purchase today. Crazy purchase, some people might say. And
Nah, it's a dope purchase.
so
Yeah.
this is it. This you guys get to witness. And the best part of today's episode too is that for the first time, we have a new guest on the podcast that we're gonna bring in. Should we just do it?
Yeah, we should just throw my boy in here,
All
man.
right, fuck it. Come on in, my boy.
Yeah,
And
man.
for the first time ever, guys, we introduced our very first guest.
Very first one.
Give
One
me
of the greatest
Uh-huh.
persons you will ever meet, you know. He is a rapper, he's a singer, he's a songwriter, all right? He's a shuffler.
Yes.
He likes EDM, and more importantly,
bad bitches.
I want to introduce my homie, my dog, at Roro You Like It.
Let's go.
Let's freaking go.
Let's go with y'all boys.
Hey, what up, broski?
It's good. It's finally good to be on the podcast.
We finally got Roro You Like It on the podcast, you know.
Wait, say Roro, you like it. I've ever since I met you like a long, long time ago, I always was like, what the fuck is up with his ad name? Roro, you like it. It's like whether you like him or not, you like it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think it started off just as like me saying the word "you like it," and then I just put my name together with it. To be honest.
So how long? Let's give me a little bit of background about that. How long have you had that little tagline per se? Because
Oh,
I've known you for a while, from back when we used to throw the raves and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
And since I met you, that was your name to me.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he always said it like that too, which I think is fucking hilarious.
I want to say since like high school.
Yeah.
We were saying like
Oh.
random ass phrases, and then we were like, "Yo, that's just catchy. You know, we should use that." And then I finally decided I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna put this as my username on my freaking social media."
And that's it now.
Yeah.
It's been years. He's still in it.
Yeah, man.
That's your. I feel the same way about yours. Epic Kid
Yeah,
Ray.
Epic Life Kid Ray. That started with Epic Life when we used to do the raves back like after we were in tech school or whatever, you know? And raves came about, EDM, and then that's how Epic Life became.
A lot of
Epic Life Kid Ray.
people that might watch this podcast don't know that side of us.
They'll figure it out.
But-
We got more episodes to go.
We'll give you a quick render on what that is. When we first met in school,
Yeah.
him and I used to sit right here next to each other like that. We were going to school for web design,
Mm-hmm.
and we came up with this idea of throwing a rave and make a little bit of money. So we rented space in like somewhere in the middle of nowhere off a farmer. I think it was like $200. I paid them
Yeah.
$200. He said, "Let me throw a party in the back of your house."
Yeah.
And he had so much land that he didn't care. So we ran extension cords from a barn all the way to like this makeshift stage that we made out of a trailer that was meant to hold a lawnmower and a 10 by 10 tent. And then the marketing genius that he is, at that time, Facebook events was like something you can really do really well.
Yeah.
And he blew it up. I mean, it got out of proportion. It got wild really quick.
Oh, great times.
I want to ask, from your perspective,
Yeah.
give me a little bit of what the fuck was going on with these raves. I mean,
Oh man, we were young, ambitious, you know, just like fuck it, you know, we're gonna throw these raves and you know, just try to have a good time, enjoy ourselves, and make money at the same time. You know what I mean? And we didn't think it would get as big as it did, but you know, when people would come back and tell us like, "Yo, we really appreciate that you guys, you know, did that party. It made me feel welcome. You know, I felt united with everybody there. You know, it just felt like family. In all honesty, that's what a lot of people, you know, that would come back and tell us, and we were like, "Yo, we appreciate you guys for just showing up to those raves." That's really how we felt most of the time.
Yeah, this was like, dude, this was like 10 years ago.
Was it?
Something like
Don't say
that.
it like that. Make
Oh,
me
well,
feel
that
old.
means we were living in the future, to be honest with you, because I met this guy, genius, purely, and
One of the greatest DJs right here.
Oh,
bro.
I forgot that I was DJing there. That's crazy. I completely erased that out of my head. I'm a videographer. Forget about DJ.
His artistic abilities are just insane, bro. Like, I give you your flowers now. You know what I mean? Not when you're gone, bro. Because, like, I would just hear the mixes. We were in school. I would just hear his mixes. He would just play them. I'm just like, dude, this kid is intelligent and he's super, like, on point with this music, man.
Virtual DJ. Just at that point when I first started, I never have a mixer, and I used to do it. You know what that is.
Oh, yeah.
Virtual DJ. You just do it with the mouse, and then I figured out the BPMs and then the BPM and how to match that. And like, I don't know, it was crazy times. For a while, I thought that I was gonna pursue a music career all the way until I went into audio engineering school. And I was the only kid in the classroom that did not want to be a rapper. And I was like, hold up. I don't want to write. I don't want to compose. I don't want to do none of that shit. I just want to learn how to mix and do all this DJ stuff. And I switched majors. And funny enough, thanks to that, I ended up sitting next to him in the web design course that we were taking at that time.
That's crazy. I didn't remember that.
So things do happen for a reason. And I think it's funny that you appreciate the DJ thing.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't because I realized that and I switched the major, I went from going to a different facility to going to the same classroom as you were.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What are the chances of that, bro?
Yeah, I still love music, and I am that kind of friend that when we catch up, I'm like, bro, I got this new song. I got to show you. And then I'll play it for you. Sure. If you give me the aux in the car, I'm sorry, bro, but you ain't getting it back. I'm taking over. And I'm gonna take you around the world, you know? Like, yo, listen to this Brazilian funk I heard.
Yeah.
Listen to this fucking hardstyle.
People like that I really appreciate, because like music is life for me, bro. You know what I mean? So coming from the Caribbean, my family, music has been a part of my whole upbringing.
Gotcha.
So when I hear your mixes, or like when we were younger, and bro, we'd be in the aux in the car, he would just be playing hit after hit after. It's like, yo, this is nuts.
Straight bangers.
Bangers, man. You remember that Halloween party we threw?
Maybe.
We threw a Halloween party and we rented it out. We rented out like this mansion or something, like near
I remember cleaning after all you nasty motherfuckers.
If you were at that party.
Yeah. The thing that I will never forget about this party was two things. The gene marks on all the fucking walls. And I remember asking everybody afterwards that helped us clean up this mess, what the fuck is this blue line across the entire living room? Oh, yeah. And as I'm cleaning it, I realized it was people grinding against the wall and leaving their gene mark on the fucking wall. Yeah, bro. And
that's a strong ass grind.
You realize everybody's ass cheeks at the same level, just across the entirety of the fucking house. And there's a white... And I didn't think logistic-wise.
Yeah.
We didn't even think about this.
Yeah.
We just, like you said, we rented this mansion, and then we do this.
Dude, it was legendary.
The way that it worked out was the fact that we had... Did you know this? We had 2 cars going to the Walmart and back, picking up people. Because it was a gated community. It was a gated community. So you can't just come into this place.
Yeah.
So we had 2 people just coming back. Shout out to my mom. She was one of those.
Yo,
hey, it worked.
Shout out to OG Pat.
And she told me that she would go to Walmart and she'll look out for people in the Halloween outfits, and then be like, "You're going to the epic rave whatever," and they're like, "Yeah," and get in the car, and these crazy people would get in a stranger's car, drive them down the block through the gate, and then drop them off at the party.
$10 each. It was like 500 people that showed up, bro. We had to leave people.
We feel that.
Yes.
You remember that?
We
had
stopped picking people up.
Bro, it got crazy, dude. Yeah, man.
I mean, it didn't help. The neighbor too showed up, and he was like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?"
Bro, it's funny you say that because I remember there was a guy, and I don't know if he was, a local in the neighborhood or not, but he was hanging off the balcony in the house.
Oh yeah, you were DJing.
He was just loud as shit in the house, and we were like, "Bro, you gotta calm down before you get kicked out."
That man was living his dream,
I know
bro.
exactly who it is. I'm gonna call you out right now, Louis. You crazy motherfucker! You're not invited. Louis, this Colombian kid that was in our high school is just off the rails. And if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
That shit was lit though, cause like
we almost had to tape him up and put him in the closet or something. He was fucking wild. Yes,
he was wild.
My perspective. Yeah. I'm DJing, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, was it you or you? Somebody was like running security, and they're like, "Yo, you need to say something on the mic," and I'm like, "What?" And
that was definitely me.
I look up, and there's a dude holding on to the roof, and then standing on the rail, just down, no shirt on.
Yeah.
He was like, "Wah!" like screaming nonsense.
Exactly.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And I had to get on the microphone and tell Louis to chill. Bro, yo, get the fuck down or you're getting out.
You're scaring me.
He kept saying my name like that. Seva! And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy? And he never changed. He never changed. I hope you're doing better, but he never changed. This is the same guy, and I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard of Mike Busey.
Yeah, dude, we were talking about him.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I never heard of him before, prior to this. I was at a gas station with my boy Ricardo. I was just with Ricardo.
Yeah.
Me and Ricardo were just like, young. I think it's like 17. Nah, we were like 17, 18, nothing to do.
Yeah.
It was like a Friday night, and we see Louis pull up to the gas station that we were at. We knew that whatever the fuck he was doing, it was about to be crazy.
Yeah.
So I approached him at the gas station. He's buying beers. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm about to get on this bus. It's $20 to get on the bus, and they'll take you back to Mike Busey's house."
Yeah.
Like, okay, sign me up. So I paid $25 to get unlimited drinks, to put a golden bracelet on me. An hour and a half fucking later, we end up at a gigantic house in St. Cloud in the middle of nowhere. And then when I approach this, there's a big gate that says the Sussex Castle.
Can we stop real quick?
Yeah.
Is that all right? I gotta dip out real fast. I gotta say goodnight to my baby boy.
Oh my god. Oh, baby boy? Like your kid? Oh, I thought he was talking about bitches for a second. What'd you do with the mic? You gotta give it to him.
My bad, bro. I'm gonna edit that up.
All right, so this is a quick intermission from. Let's talk about our sponsor here. What do you have here? Luckily today we're sponsored by a very rare beer.
Very rare beer.
I actually never seen this before. Where'd you get it?
I actually bought it from Circle K. It's called Outlaw. It's a really nice, smooth beer. I like it. I mean, it's from Colorado. Hey. They say good things come out of Colorado.
They got good weed, that's for sure. Why are you taking Ray's spot?
Let me see. I gotta put on this mic the right way. Did I hit the wrong button on it?
No, you did. It's on.
Okay.
It's good to go.
Because I thought I hit a button on it and made it turn on.
Right now, when I'm doing the podcast, everybody wants to text me. But 2 hours ago, when I'm sitting there with nothing to fucking do,
So, like, what is it that you think?
Bro, I'm sorry, you can't do that shit right now.
What is it that you think about this current state, of how people view social media?
That's a great question. I think that I think the social media is downplayed as something that is not harmful,
Yeah.
and all of us kind of live in this fake reality. Really, we live in like this fake reality where we think this thing is healthy.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Today, my boy, his kid was talking about Fortnite, and I only say that because social media kind of does the same thing to you, where it gives you this dopamine hits,
Yeah.
and low key, that's the reason why it's so addicting. Because if you're watching reels, it's short form content, so it's really quick. You get something out of it, and you feel good. I think that we're gonna see the side effects of social media. Maybe we're already starting to see it with some of these younger generations
Yeah.
that are like kind of weird. Like, and not sorry, maybe to just know how to be more
Yeah.
personal,
They don't
how to speak.
tend to a lot of them have, well, from what I've noticed, have trouble trying to connect with people and just have conversations sometimes. Sometimes I would just be out in public and I'll see people just literally glued to the phone, and I'm in my head like, dang, what's going on there that you don't see, what's going on outside of that. But
they're not even in the real world.
Yeah.
You seen Black Mirror, right?
Yeah, I've watched Black Mirror.
It's kind of like a Black Mirror episode. We all say, hey, let's get together, let's go have dinner.
Yeah.
And then we all do this at the table. And then you know what's even crazier? You order the food gets there, everybody's like, I'm gonna put it on Instagram.
Exactly.
And I say it, I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it too. Right now I'm going through this thing where after the breakup that I had with my ex-girlfriend, it kind of fueled this side of me of, fuck it, I'm gonna speak on camera, I'm gonna record blogs, I'm gonna put myself out there and just lose that shyness of talking to the camera in public. It's hard. You've seen people that do it, but it's a lot harder than you think when you have all these people and they're judging.
Of course, yeah.
So that gave me that. So now a lot of my friends are getting used to me being like this and pulling the phone out, and all of a sudden I'm talking to it and I get you in it. Some people I know a few friends of mine that I could tell they don't enjoy it, and then I could tell other friends they want to be part of the story.
Yeah.
So I am guilty of using social media too much to a certain extent. Mainly Instagram.
Yeah.
I think that one's a deadly one for me. And I think we're spending too much time on it. Phones now, they track your usage, and if you go look, I have a friend that's doing this thing where he's not using social media or his phone, actually his entire phone at all as much. He wants to do less of it. Shout out to you, Ricardo. Good job for that. And he was sharing with me today that on average he gained 16 hours back in his week.
Oh, nice.
16 hours.
Yeah.
It's almost a full day.
All because he decided not to use social media as much. I've heard rumors that people are starting to go back to the older phones.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so like a BlackBerry, like an old Samsung phone. They'll go back to the ones that had the little, keyboard and stuff like that. Whatever helps. I'm not, against people doing that. I just think it is a time where it's harder, for us to actually be able to not have a smartphone. You know what I mean? Especially in, being in the city all the time, most people use their smartphone, you know, to pay with. You're listening to music on it. You're contacting people. It's just a lot all in one device. Now, when you go back in time and use the older phones, I kind of wonder how society is viewed then. You know what I mean? Like, are you really, are you really just like texting and just making phone calls, or are you just trying to be able to get a break from the smartphone so later on you can catch up? That's what I wonder, because there was a time when I was like, yo, I'm definitely going to go back to a BlackBerry, because I loved the BlackBerry at one point, and I was like, yo, this phone is just strictly for business.
Calls and texts,
Yeah,
communication.
it
It wasn't about the apps.
Nah, it really wasn't.
It changed.
It really wasn't. Like, the apps, if anything, you were limited on how many apps you could download.
Yeah.
Facebook probably was the only one I remember that you could
That's
download
true.
on there.
That's true. I remember the first ones.
Yeah.
I think it all changed when the iPhone came out, and then the touch screen kind of became the new standard.
Yeah.
And then from then on, all these companies invested a lot of time and money into making the whole UI experience better.
Yeah.
But then now, fast forward to now, they know how to give you a pretty app that works and is intuitive. But now, because money is always the motive, and that's the root of evil, in my opinion. We need money to survive, but at the same time, it's also the devil's work in a way. Because what I'm trying to say is companies now figured out how to make the pretty app, intuitive, blah, blah, blah. But now their main goal is to keep your attention as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because the more attention they have from you, the more ads they could sell you on.
That is true.
Right?
That is true.
It's a business. It's like anything. And I mean, it makes sense. Like the reason why Vine was so popular, but then it went away, was because it worked. It was the first short form content. Vines were what, 5 seconds, 7 seconds?
Yeah.
So it was really quick, and you got to intake all these funny shit really fast. But they never figured out how to add ads to it.
Exactly.
So the platform couldn't pay for itself.
Yeah.
So it ended up going away. Right? And then TikTok came out of left field. And that's something that I also share with Ray when we had these type of topics, where TikTok is a monster, because now, I don't know if you know, I'm sure you've seen their live streams.
Yeah.
And they're selling stuff.
Yeah. It's similar to, when I was growing up, QVC.
Basically. That's the best
that
way
goes
you
to
can
show you how
describe
old I am.
That's funny. That's the best way you can describe it. It's like a QVC in the phone now. And it's the same thing. They already got your attention on there, so they're going to put you on real quick.
Yeah. Interesting times. Very interesting times.
So to wrap it up, I would have to say that they're cool. Some of us can get a lot of money from it. Some of us can gain knowledge from it.
Yeah.
But I think that every single person needs to be aware that too much is bad.
Yeah.
And go outside and touch some fucking grass.
I completely agree. Go outside and touch some grass. Drink some fucking beer and have a good time.
And when you're with your friends, yeah, cool. Get the Instagram in. That's it. Put it away. Let it go. And actually be present, which is my biggest he dropping the dog over there. my biggest takeaway from the lessons I learned this year was to be present.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Exactly.
And let go of that, I don't know. People just do that. So we just touched on Instagram.
Dude, that's so real.
And you completely missed it.
Yeah, that's all right, though. Damn, be present. That's like your
focus. This is where, you're joining back when we're kind of wrapping it up, as far as like, it takes you away from the real world. People live in this alternative reality of like their little screen. And now we want to just make the message about being present and paying attention to your surroundings. Every single day that you get on this earth, it's a blessing, and you start from scratch, from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep. And a lot of us are spending so much time on these platforms. Do we live forever? No.
No.
So why the fuck are we, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why the
absolutely.
fuck are we giving time to that?
Mm-hmm.
Too much time to that. Like I said, it's okay, it's fun. Let me post what I'm doing, but that's it. But Roro was talking about how, you know, people go and have dinner and they want to spend time together, quote unquote. Everybody's like this, though. Especially the younger kids, where they're like,
Yeah, man.
and you know what drives me fucking nuts? When you see these younger people and then you see them set up their phone.
Oh man, the TikTok dances.
And I'm like, what the fuck are they on? Holy shit. We are doomed.
Yo, I remember the first time I saw that was actually in Dallas, man, and I didn't know what was going on. Like, I was in a train. I forgot where exactly we were heading towards in Dallas, but we took this train to go to, I'm guessing, a shopping area, and there was this like this couple that was on the train, and they set up the camera. Next thing you know, I'm like, yo, what are they filming? Like, what's going on right now? So they don't say anything at first. And then next thing you know, yeah, the dance move break out. They like, you know, just doing all that. I'm like, hey, I guess this is what's entertainment. You know what I mean?
How does that even conversation come about? Like two grown people and like, yo, you want to do that new dance? You want to do this?
It's
trend?
a brand new dance.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
it's
then,
like the
and then I
Cupid
gotta
Shuffle
tell you,
breaking
like,
out of nowhere.
all right, I'm gonna do this, and then this, and then like,
yeah.
nah.
It's a trend, bro. I was around at the mall and this dude just like out of nowhere set up the thing and was just like, it's just like, bro, he kept doing it over. And every kid that was walking by, they were doing it too. But they were like 8 to 9, so it's like a 28-year-old with like 8 to 9-year-olds doing the same trend.
So let me flip the topic and ask,
Go for it.
what is the future look like for those men, right? These kids that are growing up in this really soft world, and where is the masculinity lay at later on in life when you grew up in this bubble? You know what I'm saying? Because like, you're from a rough upbringing, I would say. So am I. You know, I'm from a third world country. I don't know much about your upbringing, but I'm gonna assume that it wasn't as
strict. It was strict.
but it wasn't as fucking, you know, kind of like what I'm saying here, like this bubble that these kids live. This. So what I'm trying to ask you guys is, what do you think the future holds for these future men of the world? Are you worried about it? Do you think that you know it's gonna be fine or what?
I mean, I'm gonna go first because, dude, am I worried about it? No, I can't say I'm worried about it. What I will say is that each man should teach the younger generation. If you have like nephews, if you have cousins that are younger, you know, you got to kind of give them the concept of what manhood is. I think that's your job as a man, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to protect, provide, and take care of your family. You know what I mean? So the other younger generation of boys in your house, like, or at least in your vicinity, like, teach them how to change a tire. You know what I mean? Like, teach them how to, I don't know, fix a computer. Give them a skill. Like, just transfer manhood to them. Because the future, you need masculinity, bro. Like, you know, you don't want to see crime going up because men aren't being men to help, you know, the weaker, you know, sex. If not just, you know, women, it's just, you know, kids, women.
The weaker, yeah.
Yeah, the weaker, like
it is.
the weaker ones. Even in the Bible, it says that, you know, like your strength you're supposed to use to help the weak. You're supposed to help the timid, the small guy. You know what I mean? So I think that's our job as men, is to transfer that. I call it transferring. Like, I just help the younger generation download that blueprint of manhood. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. I think we all have it in our DNA.
Yeah.
I think that there's so many distractions in the world, and I think some of those are on purpose to take us far away from this rebellious, manly, masculine man that will start and end the revolution. And that's things that we talked about before, where like a lot of these up and coming so-called men are too soft. They're pacifist, treat everybody nice. You have to though, respect for sure, but sometimes you gotta beat somebody's ass if you have to. Yeah.
Hey, look, I agree. You know, there are a lot of like fairies out there.
Give us some of that dust.
The one thing I could say is you definitely have to go outside more and, you know, build up that strength. You know, I think that's what it takes. You have to experience things to put you in a place where you're like, yo, I would have never have known this if I was just strictly around, you know, people that I'm comfortable with. You know, I would have never gained that experience. Like, you have to go and just see things for yourself. And that's how I think, you know, it builds up that strength to be more of a man, you know. And every now and then, you know, a little pain ain't gonna, you know, it's not gonna get you down all the time. It will for a while, but you'll build that character and then become something that you didn't even know you could be.
I love that. You just reminded me of a message that I got. So I went to see Jordan Peterson in Miami, and he was talking about what it is to raise a child.
Yeah.
And one of his advice that he gave was that you almost have to raise them on the edge. And what I mean by that is, like, if they want to ride a bike with no wheels to help them, you know what I'm saying? The little wheels on the side. You can't be the type of parent that is like, no, they're going to get hurt. You can't do it. And they never allow you to take the risks. Basically, what I mean by raising a child on the edge is like, you're always going to let them take controlled risks, and you let them find out how to fall and get up, and what hurts and what doesn't. And then that's the only way that they get to achieve things and then feel proud for themselves, rather than they give you this participation trophy because you made it. You're fucking 27th. You're not even in the top 5, but here's a trophy, here's a medal. And we tend to do that right now in school where it's like, I don't have kids, so I don't know. You might know about that, but everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets an award. Everybody wins. That's weird. I don't think that's the correct thing all the time. Like, something I really appreciate about Ricardo is I've been seeing him raise his kid. He has a boy, and he's very realistic. Like, he was playing in a soccer team, and he was better than everybody else, so he took him out.
Really? And
he put him in a more advanced soccer team.
Wow.
The kid comes back and he's crying to his dad, and he's like, I don't like it. They're pushing me around. They're bumping me. I don't want to play for this team. And Ricardo's like, no, you got to play for this team because you're going to grow to their level and then surpass them. And then once you do that, then you can move on or stay.
Dad.
Right? And I just kind of sat there and I watched this interaction because he was crying to him. And I just happened to be there, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I understood what he was trying to teach him, as far as like, if you play with the weaker kids, you're gonna be just like them.
Exactly.
Facts.
Yeah.
Big facts.
But if you learn to survive with the big dogs,
Oh yeah.
then you a boss.
Yeah.
Big facts too.
And I'm like, hold up.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. Growing up in the hood, I ain't even gonna lie to you. That is very true. You know, we would go on the basketball court, and you would not get in the game unless you could prove to the older guys that you knew how to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would not pick you up. Like, you would just watch if you did not know how to play. You know, like, they need someone that they can count on for that win, the next team that they play against. You know what I mean? So that is very true. You want to build that skill level so they respect you on the court or the soccer field, whatever sport. Shoot, it could be even ping pong. You know what I mean?
No, that's even real in life too.
Yeah.
Because like my dad, he got accused of a crime that he didn't commit when I was younger, and that separation for him for a couple of days, like it really messed me up mentally because I now realized, as a kid, I was like 5 or 6. I realized like, damn, like my dad's not here, so I got to be the man of the house type thing, right?
That's tough.
It's super tough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as soon as my dad got out, he decided, I'm gonna go learn the law of the United States. Like he went to law school, right?
Wow.
But as he went to law school, he took me with him because he couldn't really speak English that well.
Wow.
So I would be reading his homework, and this is me learning this in the 6th grade. So a couple years passed by, all my friends are doing middle school work, and I'm reading law books. You know what I mean? But it made me more, how do I say, like it made me on that level with them adults. Like I would sit in a classroom with them, and I could read the same length of literature as them, but as like a 13-year-old. So I'm trying to say. Yeah. So it made me tougher. I ain't gonna lie. Mentally, literature wise, yeah. When you roll with the big dogs, you become a big dog. Sometimes it's okay to be like uncomfortable. Sometimes you gotta be with the greats to become a great. So I was true. That. Period.
100%. And piggyback to what you just said. When you feel uncomfortable, it's because you're growing. When you feel comfortable for too long, then you're just there. You're complacent. Yeah. You're not really growing anymore. Mm-hmm. And I felt that definitely in my career as someone that is in the video industry, and I didn't go to school for it. So I had to learn everything by trial and error. And I walked into rooms with people that have the bachelor's degree for film, blah, 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 right?
Yeah, yeah.
And they come to me and they say stuff in their little language, and I know it, but I felt uncomfortable at first. And it made me want to quit, but I didn't. You know what I did instead? I looked it up. What does this mean? What is this type of lighting? What is this thing that they were talking about? Let me go learn about this. Let me go learn about that. Mm-hmm. Next time around, I'm around these people. I know what you're talking about, actually, and this is what I'm gonna add to that.
Nice.
And
Maverik.
And yes, sir. And now I sit in the room, and I can communicate, and I feel good with feeling uncomfortable, because I know now in the back of my head that it's only because I'm having to learn something new, and I'm gonna come out stronger later. And I don't know. That's just kind of what I've been on lately, and I'm just like, yeah.
But as a man, like, doesn't that like define you? You know what I mean? Like wanting to go farther and getting stronger and getting better. Like, shouldn't that like be your goal as a man anyway? Or am I just speaking for myself?
No, it is.
Yeah.
It should challenge you, yeah.
Sadly, not all males are like that though, because of the topic that you started with, because of how toxic social media can be. Because you're doom scrolling forever and you deplete your dopamine and nothing feels good anymore. And then you're depressed. And then what happens? You go to the doctor to give you pills.
Yeah.
The truth is you don't have to do that. You know what? Go outside and touch the grass.
Exactly.
Start working out.
Get some sunlight.
Sunlight is key.
Get some sunlight.
We are meant to be outside in the sun and recharge that way. We are meant to be barefoot on the ground and ground ourselves, literally.
Mm-hmm. Now you gonna break the internet saying this. I know.
Literally.
I don't know him.
You're about to get swatted in this bitch. But I mean, it goes. I'm so glad that you put it that way, because part of the way that they control us is by hiding some of this information and then promoting the things that take us away from that best version of a human race. Comfort is killer. Comfort is killer.
It's really true.
Yeah. And I'll bring it all the way to even comfort. From my own personal experience last year, comfort in my relationship killed the relationship.
I don't think that's normal for a man to want to be comfortable. How do I say this, man? I want to say it the right way.
We do want to be comfortable, but...
Right, but by our own design. Not to be pacified by something else. Does that make sense? Because like, let's say like if like I don't want to take it out of your mind, but I've been there at one point in my life too, where I was really comfortable in a relationship, with a female, but I started realizing like the things that make me a man started to go away. You understand? Like but what's even weirder though, with society now, it's like some women are looking for their masculine side too.
That's fucked.
Yeah, that is something. That is
Two
something.
masculine energies. Something has to be more dominant than the other. You
Yeesh.
understand? So, like, imagine you're the man and your energy is like going more feminine, and you have this more masculine female with you. You know, so I've seen that with Papoose, for example. He's a rapper.
Yeah.
Like, he stood by his wife for like 10 years. She went to prison for some crazy stuff, and then she came out of prison, and she was just way more manlier than him, bro. Like, she was with the niggas like at rap sessions and was like moving around like a dude, and you could see Papoose like being ridiculed within, you know, social media for it, you know, and he could tell. I felt bad for him because she made him look really crazy. So,
You know, I
Let it
think
out. Let it out.
about what you just said, and I'm like, yo, imagine if she was put in the wild. How would she survive though?
that's a great question.
You know, would she hunt?
Maybe.
You think? Or after, you know, a certain time she would find a man to go hunt?
I think it goes back to our DNA. Like,
I'm gonna drink to that
I'm
one.
gonna say it.
Let's go.
It goes back to our DNA. Oh, he's popping that shit open. Shout out to our sponsor, Outlaw. Y'all really need to sponsor us.
For real, it's great beer.
I have to say, yeah, you put her in the wild, and what kind of female is this though? Because if she's a brainwashed female from 2026, 2025, then she definitely thinks she can do everything on her own, and she doesn't need a man. And that's what I'm trying to get at, where like it depends on the girl. And I learned now that there is more traditional women that enjoy being feminine and being that girl that finds a man that can take care of these things while she takes care of the other things, and she kind of knows her place in her femininity. But then there's a lot of other females out here that, because of social media and just basically the world that we live in, they don't think we need a man. I don't need no fucking man.
The reason I said that is because most women I've met, they like comfort, you know, and the comfort is what keeps them, you know, being feminine. But at the same time, once they're away from the comfort, it's like watching a puppy. You know, it's like, you know, what would you do if you weren't comfortable? Like, would you be able to survive? That is the real, you know, question. And for them, I don't know if they would be. Maybe some would. I'm not doubting any, you know, females, but the ones I've met, they like the comfort.
I like feminine women, bro, all the way. Traditional, feminine. I mean, it's not because like, what's the word? Toxic masculinity or whatever.
Yeah.
That's taboo, bro. If all of the infrastructure in the United States just stopped completely, and we live in like we in the Caribbean with no electricity, no water, no police when you call 911 pulls up, I think you're gonna need a man real quick. But that's just me with my logic, because I know I need a female for sure. You know what I mean? Like I need not masculinity. I have hella masculinity. I need femininity. You know, that feminine part, like when it raises children, you know, when it rears children, when it takes care of the home, like we're not wired like that, bro. You know, I feel like
we're rougher. We're a little tougher in that sense.
I feel like society and social media is trying to make us more pacifists, like
Yeah,
more feminine. And,
it's because pacifist men won't start or end the revolution. And what do they want? Control. Why would I promote the mentality? Think I'm the government. I'm the maybe not even the government. I'm the oligarchs that control the world. The ones that we don't know about. And I have so much control that I push an agenda where we make men weaker, not physically, but just pacifist, in a sense where they're not going to go end the dictatorship. They're not going to go do these things that are going to go against what they want, obviously. So, yeah, I think that society as a whole is currently trying to make men less manly. You know, they want us to be chill.
I'm not painting my nails, bro. I'm just not doing that.
That's not, you know. I mean,
Look, the main thing I'm gonna say is, guys out there, it's good to just like, you know, hit the gym, play some sports, you know, even every now and then, if you have to, go for a walk. Like, highly recommend it. It's therapeutic to just go for a walk. You know what I mean? That right there is when I started thinking about everything on a walk. And, you know, a lot of people, they don't have that outlet to where they can just go, you know, and find a hobby and get really into the hobby. My hobby, I think, is just walking.
That's
you know,
cool.
yeah, just going out for a walk and then collecting my thoughts together.
and it works.
Yeah, yeah.
It works. I believe that.
Like, it ain't worth it, you know. Don't go out trying to cause havoc all the time because that ain't gonna get you too far. So,
You know, havoc. That's a good word. That's a good like caveat. I was talking to a friend of mine today, and he was saying when he was like 14, 15, he was very like crazy. Like he always wanted to break into things, steal things, take things. Like he just had an impulse to always want to do something. And he's like, looking back at it now, it's because of his testosterone. You know what I mean? Like, you're a guy. What do group of boys do usually? Fuck shit up, like, and break things. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't have like a hobby. So,
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, we're not,
to mellow that out is a good idea.
you know, we're not painting all the time. And not nothing against painters, you know, but that's just not a thing that most guys do. You know, when I was younger, I was really into just sports, and I think that was my outlet when I was younger. But now, you know, as you get older, you know, your body doesn't really react the same way after playing a game of basketball with like 15-year-olds on the court. And,
Yeah, stamina.
you know, yeah, the stamina gets a little lower. But like I said, man, guys, you just got to go out there, find your way of relaxing without doing too much.
And don't crash out,
Nah, definitely don't do that.
right?
No, I mean, before you do that, go shoot some guns. Go in a control.
That as well, yeah.
Go to the gym. Buy a punching bag. Yo, I'll tell you this, and this has little to do with masculinity in the sense that we were just talking about, but I'll just say that I discovered that because we live in this rat race of work, home, work, paycheck to paycheck, pay bills, and it restarts every fucking month, right?
Yeah.
Most of us haven't figured out how to recharge our battery. Not just sleeping. Sleeping does one thing. By the way, a lot of people sleep wrong. Like they don't really sleep enough in a timely manner to actually go into REM sleep and recharge. But I'm talking about the battery of like creatively and just feeding your soul. And I'm talking to you right now, actually.
He hit his target on
Because, you know, and I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. Ray is really good at working. I mean, right before we started the pod, he's on the laptop, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm filing for this. I'm like, you're filing? What the fuck are you doing? You're working. No work right now. Right now, what we're doing is recharging our creative battery. Because I need you to be fully charged when you go back to the rat race of real work. And most of us do not figure out how to do this. Maybe for you, sports, but we figured out that walking kind of really feeds the soul in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
For me, I figured out that I just have to do something creative, whether it's filming this video or talking to my phone and making a blog, or I literally just work on a project of some sort. Right?
Yeah.
A little bit ago, I used to just plant.
Oh, okay.
I started
nice.
planting. I started growing tomatoes and peppers and onions and potatoes, and I got into that a lot, you know. And just it's funny because it was just touching grass, and that recharged me. And I would purposely go out there with my bare feet and touch ground and find the worms and do all of these things. And that's what I was telling you the other day, because I know you just recently came back from Medellin. I think Ray figured out how to recharge his battery by getting away and grounding himself with good food, good company, and a change of scenery. And luckily for you, you found that in Colombia.
Yeah, man.
I think
I found that was like 10 years ago.
that's a cheat code, by the way.
Yeah, it's a cheat code. That was like 10 years ago. Yeah, I had some serious stuff going on, and like you're saying, like that grounding, touching the grass element is real for me personally, because you know when you spend a lot of time inside, I realize you don't get enough sunlight. You know, you don't get even in your food within our beautiful country. And shout out to RFK Jr. Who's working on that, trying to get all these dye 9s and dye 8s or whatever out of our sodas, our drinks, our food.
You have to eat healthy.
You gotta eat healthy.
Gotta
bro. I'm
eat
talking
healthy.
about as soon as you get to these other places, even in Europe, bro, you taste this food and it instantly charges you. Like you feel it, like you feel calm. Like whoa, this is real sugar in my drink right now. Oh, this is a real strawberry drink. This is real pineapple. Like the milk is right down the street in these countries. Like the farm is right down the street from the store.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Man, that's so sad to think that we live in the best country in the world, but then they do that.
I mean,
But that's
Yeah.
back to we started.
that's
You remember
a
what we
deeper
first-
topic, but yeah.
But you
for
remember
sure,
what we
yeah.
first said at the beginning of this conversation? I kept saying that we have to be present.
Yeah.
That is part of it.
It really is.
How absent are you in your own world that you don't even know what you're eating?
Your body tells you. My body tells me. You know what's funny? I actually met this guy on the way there, and he was telling me that he works for himself, and every 4 months he gives himself a vacation.
Every 4 months.
Look how nice he is to himself,
Most people don't even take one in a year.
bro.
Exactly.
That's insanity. That's insanity, bro. You don't want to be to the point where you're broken down and then you go on vacation. I'm still challenging myself and learning how to be present. That's actually one of my goals for this year. I want to learn how to do, because talking to this guy, he was so generous to himself. He's like, I'm gonna work 120 days in the rat race. Then after that, I'm gonna give myself a break because I deserve it.
Nice.
And I was just like, that's powerful, bro. Like, wow.
It's definitely needed. Definitely need to take a break from work, guys. Do whatever you can. Don't let the rat race win. You
You
know.
won't. That's you don't win it. It's an endless cycle. It's like when I seen the best representation of the rat race is a little hamster wheel, and it just never stops spinning. You die if somebody else takes your place.
But you can definitely step away from it.
Yeah.
And
It's still gonna be here when we get back.
try to collect everything, back into that process where that all right, I'm ready to go back in it.
And sometimes it's not even about the money too, because what's crazy? People that have a lot of money aren't happy. I'm starting to really notice that. Like, what is your goal in life? If it's money, you gotta really be careful, because I think that's like a lie they kind of sold us here. Have the house, have the car, have this, and you should be happy. I think it's a little bit different. Like, you gotta feed the soul, like you were saying.
House, mortgage, car payment. You're feeding into the fucking rat race.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that is so crazy because we all need somewhere to lay and live and whatever. But that entire mentality of go to school so I can go to college, so I can get a job, so I can retire. What the fuck?
Here's a question: who came up with that?
The globalists. They need working bees.
You heard it first.
They need working bees, because if everybody had that same mentality that we have, where we just need to figure out how to pay the bills with this source of income, and then the rest of the time I'm chilling in the beach,
For sure.
then there's too many alphas in the room.
But why are we chilling at the beach? Because we deserve it. Period.
You all deserve to go chill at the beach. It's a good vibe. Good times. you
Roro's
feel me?
hella nice, because I'm going to say some of y'all don't deserve it. Some of y'all need to Need to keep working so people like us can go to the beach. Yo. sorry.
Oh man.
That's hilarious. But it's real though. That's one thing I will say, like the American mindset, the society here, bro, is dog eat dog, bro. Like if you aren't built for it, baby, you ain't gonna. That's why Trump is giving out tickets for free to head back home. You think this thing is a joke? You think wearing these Nikes and having this brand on us, you think this is easy, bro? Come and try. You know how many of my cousins came from Haiti and came here, bro? They are miserable, bro. They love the fact that they don't have to deal with gunshots and gangs, you know, taking over overnight a whole city type stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, by the 6th month of working at the same job and paying the same bills, they're looking at me like, bro, you've been doing this for how long? It's like, yeah, bro.
That's what it is.
Your rent's what? $2,000? Mm-hmm. You just made $2,000, so you got to use that $2,000 to pay that? Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't get food stamps because why? You make too much money?
Oh,
it looks
It's
easy.
real. That's what's real about
easy.
it.
This is the hardest country in the universe. But I tell you what, though, it is one of the greatest countries ever, though. You know what I mean? Like, you could really make it out here and really make it, but you have to define what making it is. Don't let nobody else's dream be your dream, bro. Like, define what is your dreams. If it's being around your family, having more time to be around them, focus on that. You know?
Here's a cheat code.
Mm-hmm.
Develop a skill. Figure out how to do something really well. Sell the service or the thing that you do. And then you unlock the money. And with that money, either invest in yourself a little more or invest in something that's going to pay for those bills and then free yourself from being the slave of the system.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I learned is, and I'll say this, and I said this to you already, I learned this really, really young. I don't know, it just clicked in my head. I said, fuck it. I'm just going to do something cool that I love. And if I can make money doing that, I'm already way more successful than half the people out here.
I remember him saying that, yeah. Over a decade ago.
That's where the DJ came from.
Yeah.
That's where the DJ came from. Oh, I could be a fucking DJ. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I figured that it wasn't really lining up. And then I switched it. We went to do the graphic design and web design. And that worked. But that brought me all the way to photography. And then today, I do what I do that a lot of people are like, damn, bro, you have an easy job. You know how hard it was to get to where I am?
Big
and I'm
facts.
just getting started.
Bro, I was telling him this yesterday. I was like telling you, remember I was telling you that? I watched this man pick up a camera for the first time and like learn it. You know what I mean? Like the level of genius I'm trying to tell y'all. Lath White has. It's insanity. Right? Could you imagine watching someone pick up something and it's like a foreign object to the point where they're like creating movies like in seconds?
Yeah. Shout out to that. Journey has been amazing. And
did you enjoy the journey though?
I do. I enjoy the journey right now. I was telling Roro earlier, and when we discussed the whole being uncomfortable, even to this day, I walk in a room and I don't want to be the smartest guy there. I want to feel uncomfortable to continue to learn because God gives us this chance every day, and it's not, I'm about to, hold up, because I heard this at church, and I'm about to push it out and say it to y'all. And I have some notes really quick, but guys, it's not about that goal, that thing that you want to make it to. The key to life is to enjoy the journey to get there. And I have this right here. Hold up.
Enjoy the journey. You don't hear that enough, bro.
No, a lot of people don't enjoy the process that it takes to get there. And I guess this was a message from last month. Oops.
I guess the journey is the place you're supposed to enjoy because like once you get to the destination, you know, it's not as fulfilling, especially if you didn't really sacrifice for it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got it right here.
Go for it.
Are you aware of the adventure or are you just waiting for the arrival? So what that means is you must learn to be happy on the way there. It's not about only about getting there. So what I mean is a lot of people say, I'll be happy when I have a house. I'll be happy when I have money. I'll be happy this. And they forget the entire journey that it took to get there. And most importantly, they don't realize to stop and enjoy the journey that it took to get that house.
Yeah.
Right? The arrival is on the way. The journey and the enjoyness and living your life to your fullest is on the way to making it to that goal. So back to what you said, are you enjoying the journey? Absolutely. Every single day. And I do this to myself when I'm driving and I'm like smiling, I'm grinning like a maniac in the car. I look like the fucking Joker over here. It mostly happens to me right after I do a big shoot.
Yeah.
And I'll share this with you guys. I just got to shoot with Angela Simmons in Miami.
Okay, that's dope.
So we filmed this entire campaign, and I got to do the script. I got to film and edit the entire project. And the grin on my face as I'm driving back from Miami, going back up to Orlando, and I think about that moment that you're talking about where I picked up a camera and that kid did not know what he was going to do with it. Wow. He just knew that he had to begin this process. And every single day I've been enjoying the journey of it. And it will continue to give you more. I don't know what next month looks like when we go to New York. Yeah. But I'm enjoying every single day until that day happens, and I'm gonna enjoy that day, and I'm gonna enjoy what comes after that.
That's beautiful, man.
That's it.
Not a lot of people live like that, man. But I think that's the goal, right? Is to search for that. Is to search for that ambition and that love of a skill that you're happy to wake up to every day.
The skill level definitely takes you to places that you would never imagine too. You know, I definitely agree. You know, the day you picked up that camera, you know, it took you on a journey that you probably right now sitting down, you know, talking about it wouldn't even expect.
No.
Yeah.
Nah, back then I would think it would be cocky to even share anything like this and be like, yeah, I'm enjoying myself.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is that I am, and I think everybody should. And it doesn't have to be the same skill set. It could be painting.
Hey, yeah.
True. And
shout out to Bob Ross.
and you do it well and you enjoy it and you don't really care about the outcome or the arrival in this case, as we were saying.
Mm-hmm.
You just care about every single thing you learn on the way there and you embrace that.
That's real.
You know, maybe I say for Ray, I think he really enjoys the journey of building a business from the ground up. Jumping through the hoops that it takes to get to that, to work and make the sales or do whatever. And that's why you're so crazy, and I'll put it out there in the world, you're so crazy, you're constantly thinking of new ideas and new businesses. And I even had to go and tell him one time, I was like, one fucking thing at a time, bro. Chill. But he don't listen. He still got many businesses going on at the same time. But I feel like that's kind of like your journey.
Yeah.
And you enjoy that. And that's why just now I had to tell him, get off the laptop. I don't know what you're filing for. but we need you here right now.
You know what? You're right, man. Because like I have to say, like, you know, I'll be vulnerable for a second, if that's cool.
Ooh.
Like, like 2 years ago, you know, I had a really bad death in my family. You know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the shit's fucked up. But anyway, you know, I didn't understand how much of an impact that had, you know, to the point where professionally, you know, they were letting me know, like, hey, you're reliving this over again. And as a man, it's like, bro, I'm strong, bro. I can take anything.
I don't have emotion.
For real. Psych. But I realize that comes from you know, being human. You know, you have to be empathetic. You know, it's okay to love your family, and it's okay to love your friends, and it's okay, you know, to have, you know, memories that hurt sometimes, you know? And sometimes you just gotta grow from it and let yourself be human. Let yourself be vulnerable, you know? Sometimes you're right. I have to be in the moment. I can't be in the past, because if I'm in the past, I'm losing out on right now. And if I'm in the future, I'm losing out on literally right now. So being present.
You don't know what tomorrow holds, so why would you even worry about it?
Amen. That's real.
A lot of people do that too much. And it's okay to think in the future and plan for the future, but you still don't know what the future looks like.
Exactly.
What is
Exactly.
tomorrow? You don't know.
Exactly.
We only live in today.
Yeah,
We can't even live in yesterday. We
That-
only live in today.
that is true.
Today is our reality, and it happens every day. I know y'all know. You wake up and you're like, "Fuck."
Mhm.
Here
Yeah.
we go. And that's crazy because a lot of people, like what you just said, they live in the past. You can't change the past.
Yeah.
You can only change what you're doing right now. And maybe some of y'all needed to hear this. It is your time to get the fuck up and do the thing you've been saying you're going to do. Go start the business that you keep saying you're going to start and you haven't. Or maybe it's as simple as going for a walk.
Exactly.
Getting
Go for
in
that
that-
walk.
You
Go
know,
for that walk.
Get in that groove. Get your mind right. Get your body right. Your food. Your thought. Maybe you need to get close to God. Maybe you need to spend more time with family and less with your phone. You know, and you're probably watching this shit on your phone.
Probably are.
so I think we should wrap. I think we should
Yeah.
wrap. I'm gonna let you do it. But
Well, let me just wrap it up with my boy here. So,
we gotta say thank you to our very first guest. You were fantastic.
Hey,
man,
thank you
appreciate
guys
you
for
pulling up,
having me.
man.
Thank you guys for having me on it.
and Roro, you like it. You know, this has been another episode of the Maverik Mindset Podcast. You know, take care of yourselves. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Peace.